And now we have the honor to have the mayor of Vigan in the Philippines. We have Juan Carlo Medina. The floor is yours.
First off, we would like to thank the government of Krakow and OWHC for inviting us to present today. This is our presentation regarding community participation, heritage conservation practice for sustainable urban revitalization. To get a better context about Vigan, we need to see the past first before we can understand where it's going at. So Vigan, in 1995, was a diminished community adversely affected by historical misfortunes. It has low annual revenue, low level of heritage and cultural knowledge. The community lacks empowerment. It has inadequate community participatory programs. It lacks investors and investments. And it has a high under and unemployment and poverty rate. So, what did the city government do to address these problems? It was three-pronged. It had to involve the community while also developing heritage conservation-based policies. It has to empower the community, and it has to foster commitment on heritage conservation. So these are our heritage conservation-based programs. We consulted our stakeholders, conducting public fora and multi-stakeholder workshops to develop the vision and action plan of our heritage city. We engage our stakeholders every 3 years for our strategic planning and cultural mapping programs. And because of this, with the help of the Spanish government, we were able to develop the Vigan Master Plan, which served as our blueprint on its development. We were able to establish the Vigan Conservation Program because of this. The conservation program included the enactment of several legislative measures that aim to safeguard and preserve the historic city. It also contained the pedestrianization of our historic street, which was Calle Crisologo, and the establishment of the City Public Safety and Disaster Risk Management Office and the Vigan Heritage Management Office. We were also able to create our conservation manual and the Vigan Heritage Homeowners Manual, which contains how homeowners would be able to repair, maintain, and restore their houses. And we were able to do children's workbooks so that young children would be able to better appreciate their culture and their heritage. Because of this, in 1999, December 4, Vigan was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, to empower the community, we established special working bodies, councils, and committees, like the Vigan Conservation Council, the Vigan Tourism Council, and the Vigan Local Development Council, which has representations from different non-government organizations, the private sector, barangay officials, the schools, the youth, the senior citizens, and all locals in our council. We started the city strategic planning every 3 years, which is participated by all local stakeholders, from senior citizens to PWDs, to the youth, to our senior citizens. We capacitated the citizenry through trainings and workshops, at the same time sending our government employees to international workshops for them to better their knowledge, and at the same time supporting our traditional industries and our tourism measures, like giving trainings for our horse-drawn carriage drivers regarding tourism and their heritage and their culture, teaching our food vendors food safety measures, at the same time teaching the community on how to be better equipped regarding for them to know regarding their culture and their heritage. So, for our commitment to heritage conservation was our cultural awareness education program. We conducted Vigan different festivals throughout the year for the tourists to know our culture and our heritage. We conducted leadership and heritage conservation awareness program for our youth and our school children, for them to be active partners in heritage conservation. We put up the Vigan Conservation Complex as a site for all our hard work and effort regarding heritage and conservation. We incorporated traditional industries like abel weaving and jar making in our high schools. We developed the Children Museum, which we call Buridek, as a venue for our children to better know about their culture, and the development of the Vigan City Library, specializing in Ilocano culture and heritage as its mandate. To sustain it, we continuously develop our environment through the river rehabilitation program, the conversion of our tricycles into four-stroke tricycles, the adaptive reuse of our historic buildings so that they could be more profitable for their owners, and we continuously adapt measures to better our solid waste management programs. At the same time, we involve our community in all our activities, especially the festivals, not just the local community, but even foreign residents living in Vigan, as you can see here from our Indian brothers and sisters. We involve our tourists not just in experiencing the heritage programs of the city, but in actuality, we even involve them in their in bettering the city by consulting with them also on what we should do better. We include our cultural icons for them to teach our children their industries, at the same time their knowledge about Vigan. So what are the outcomes of our projects? Our income in 1995 was $515,000. Now it's at $4.7 million, which is an increase. Our tourists from 1995 was 18,000. It's now at 1.2 million. And our poverty incidence at 45.5% in 1995 is down to 1.93% in 2018, with an employment rate of 72%. We also garnered awards and recognition. Our most proudest award is the award given during the 40th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention of UNESCO as the best managed site in the world. So, can communities replicate our programs and projects? I think most of the communities can replicate our projects because of the simplicity of it. It only takes consultation with our stakeholders and our community to better the lives of our people. It takes constant listening and at the same time constant dialogue with them for us to know what they feel is important, at the same time what they feel the city government should program and project for the next few years. So what did we learn? We learned that local communities play an increasing important role in economic development and heritage conservation, and that heritage conservation can be socially sustainable if the local community can involve in the conservation and revitalization work, and that the community involvement gives more diverse policies, open and transparent procedures, and strong sense of belonging and ownership to their social, cultural, and historical values. So to all of you, thank you and good afternoon.
You beat the bell. You beat the bell. Well done. You can take that home as a souvenir, I think. All right, so I know a lot of you have site visits coming up, and that's leaving in just a handful of minutes outside the front door. I know everyone's excited about that, and if you haven't signed up for one yet, it might be too late, it might not. Run out, beg, throw yourself on the mercy of the organizers out there and see if you can jump on a bus and take a tour. It's going to be a really interesting way to see really cool parts of the city. Just before we let these people off the stage, Your Excellency, would you care to comment on. We've just seen 3 really interesting presentations, getting engaged in the communities. I saw you were listening intensely while you were sitting beside me. What are your first gut reactions of what you've seen? Anything that struck you as particularly effective as a way to engage the community that way?
It's very important to engage the community. Without them, we can't develop anything because they are the real partner of any project. And what I heard from our speaker this morning and this afternoon, it's a wonderful experience. We will learn from the experience and try to do something similar in my small country, in the city of Muharraq and Manama as well. So community is a partner, and we have to respect their will and their vision for their own city.
Perfect. Well said. I know we're in a hurry to get out of here. Let me just say, my big takeaway from this was I really felt like that the locals, it's really, there's the soul of the community, and you can't remove the soul of a community. And it's that careful balance with tourism that it can take over that soul, and that's something that's delicate and valuable. And I would sort of end with this one final thought. A city can have tourists, but the tourists shouldn't have the city. I'll leave you with that to think about that one for a while as you exit and make your way to your tours. I just wish you a wonderful day. We'll be back here tomorrow, and we're going to do a little wrap-up of some of the best lessons that we've taken away from all the presentations today, and try to sum things up so you have something pocket-sized to take with you on your rides back home. Thank you again, and for a lovely day. Thank you very much to the panel.